$1,012 a month. That is the gap between a 40% rating and a 70% rating for a single veteran in 2026, and a single page in your own words is what often moves a claim across it. There is one form the VA almost never tells you to fill out, and the veterans who skip it leave the hardest part of their own story off the record entirely.
Hey everyone, Erica here. That form is VA Form 21-4138, the Statement in Support of Claim. It is the page where you, the veteran, describe your condition in your own words, not your doctor, you.
Today we go deep on that one page because the personal statement is the piece of evidence most under your control and the piece most people waste.
This is Isabella. Think of a claim as a courtroom file. The C&P exam is the expert witness. The records are the exhibits, and your statement is the only place the person it actually happened to gets to speak. Skip it, and the file argues your case without you in the room.
I'm Liam, and here is the question I had the first time I saw this form. If the records already exist, why does my opinion matter? My read is the records show a snapshot from the days you happen to be in a clinic, and only you can describe the bad days they never captured, the ones that never made it into a note.
Exactly, Liam. And the trap is that most veterans either never write one or they leave the box blank and let a single line on the application carry their entire history. That silence costs ratings, and it costs real money every month for years.
Before we go further, a question landed under almost every video we have done on rating increases, and it frames this whole episode. Liam, you pulled it. Read it for the room.
Yes, and it is the one everyone asks. If my doctor already documented everything, what is left for me to even say in a personal statement?
Two different forms get called the personal statement, and mixing them up is one of the most common mistakes we see. Let us draw the line clearly so you never confuse them again.
The story I keep hearing goes like this. A veteran sits down to write about their own back pain, grabs the wrong form off a search result, and ends up filling out the one meant for a witness. The account they wrote is good. The container is just wrong, and that small mix-up can stall a whole claim.
So here is the split. Form 21-4138 is the Statement in Support of Claim. That is your first-hand account, written by the veteran, about the veteran. It is the I was there voice, and nobody else can write it for you.
And it carries a weight no record can. A clinic note is a stranger's summary of a 10-minute visit on one of your better days. Your statement is the only document in the whole file authored by the one person who lives inside the condition every single day, through the bad nights the clinic never sees.
The other form is 21-10210, the lay or witness statement. That one is for someone else entirely. A spouse, a battle buddy, a coworker who watched you struggle through a shift. They write about what they saw in you from the outside.
Let me make sure I have it. My read is the 4138 is the veteran talking about the veteran, and the 10210 is a spouse talking about the veteran. Different author, different form. Is that the whole distinction?
Let me lay the two side by side so the difference sticks, because this is exactly where people grab the wrong page. Your statement first. The author is you, the form is 21-4138, and the job is to describe your symptoms from the inside.
Then the witness version. The author is someone else, the form is 10210, and the job is to corroborate. A strong claim often carries both, and they do not compete with each other. They stack, because the rater is hearing the same story from the inside and the outside at once.
Quick honest ask while we are here. If this has been worth your time so far, hit like, then subscribe and ring the bell. I know everyone asks, but this one is free, and it is how a small channel like this actually grows.
A reviewer does not read your statement looking for sympathy. They read it looking for 4 specific things, And when all four are present, the page does real work. Picture Marcus, an Army veteran in his late 30s who is rated at 40% for a back injury. He is certain he deserves more and unsure why his last attempt went nowhere. His old statement was 3 flat sentences. Let us rebuild it the way a rater actually reads it.
Part 1 is what happened in service. For Marcus, that is the day in 2011 he lifted a generator off a trailer and felt his lower back give. Specific event, specific year. Not just I hurt my back overseas, which tells the rater almost nothing.
Part 2 is your symptoms now, and this is where most statements go thin. Marcus should write the frequency and the severity in plain numbers. The back locks up 4 or 5 mornings a week. The pain runs down his right leg, and twice a month it drops him for the whole day. Numbers like that are what a rater can match to the rating schedule.
Part 3 is the part that decides the rating, and almost everyone underwrites it. The VA rates how a condition affects your earning capacity and your daily function, so you have to spell out the cost in real life. A diagnosis alone is not a rating. The functional loss is.
For Marcus, that means he can no longer lift his daughter. He missed 9 workdays last quarter, and he switched to a desk role he hates because the warehouse floor is impossible now. That is what impact looks like on paper. The rater is not reading pain. They are reading a life that got smaller.
And part 4 is continuity, the thread from then to now. Marcus writes that the pain never fully went away after 2011, and that he treated it himself for years before he ever filed a claim. That one line answers the question a rater always asks. If it has been this bad for this long, why are the records so thin in the middle?
Notice what Isabella just did with Marcus. 4 short paragraphs, 1 for each part, and a thin 3-sentence statement became a complete story a rater can actually score. You are not writing more, you are writing in the order they read. Knowing what to write is half of it. The other half is knowing exactly where it goes on the page, because the form looks more bureaucratic than it actually is, and that look alone scares people off it.
Let me walk you to the exact spot where your statement lives on the real form. The top of 214138 is just identifying information, your name, your file number, and your mailing address. Easy stuff that takes 2 minutes.
Now look at section 2, titled Remarks. That gray bar is the line that matters. Everything below it is one open box, and that single box is your entire statement.
And here is the thing about that big empty box. It intimidates people. They see all that white space staring back and they freeze, so they write a single polite sentence and move on to the next field. The most important box on the form gets the least ink.
Reframe it completely, though. That box is not a hurdle to clear with the fewest words possible. It is your microphone, and the whole point of the form is to hand it to you. So fill it like the room is finally listening, because it is.
What if the 4 parts do not fit in the box? My read is you just keep going. Here is a page 2, and you can attach more pages if you need them. Nobody is grading you on brevity, and a longer, honest statement beats a short, polished one every time.
Right. The only real mistake here is leaving remarks blank or dropping in a single thin line. A blank box is a wasted page, and a wasted page is a wasted chance to be heard by the one person deciding your number. So treat that white space like the most valuable real estate in the whole file. There is a question that comes up every single time we show this form, and Isabella has been holding it. Isabella, go ahead and put it to the panel.
Yes, and it is the practical one. Do I have to use the paper form at all? Or can I just write my statement online when I file?
You can do either. The VA lets you submit a statement in support of your claim online instead of mailing the paper form, and online or paper, the same 4 parts belong in it. The format is flexible. The content is what counts.
So we know the 4 parts, and we know where they go. Now the harder question. How does a statement that contains all the right pieces still manage to sink a claim? because it happens constantly.
3 mistakes do most of the damage, Erica, and none of them are about effort. They're about how the statement reads to the person deciding a number. Walk us through all 3.
Mistake 1 is vagueness. A line like, "My back hurts sometimes," gives the rater nothing to rate. Sometimes is not a frequency, and hurts is not a severity. Vague language reads as mild even when your life is anything but.
So the fix there is to trade every soft word for a hard one. Not sometimes, but 4 mornings a week. Might it hurts, but it drops me for the day. Is that the move, Erica?
Exactly the move. Mistake 2 is the quiet killer, where you contradict your own medical record. The notes say your knee gives out weekly, but your statement says it is occasional. Now the rater has 2 stories from one veteran.
And once there are 2 stories, doubt creeps into the whole file. The rater cannot unsee the gap, so they lean toward the lower, safer number. Consistency is not a nicety here. It is what protects your credibility.
Hold on, because mistake 3 is the heartbreaking one. Veterans minimize. We are trained to push through, to not complain, to say I am fine. And that instinct written onto this form can quietly cost you a higher rating.
I have watched it happen so many times, Jasmine. A veteran describes the worst chapter of his health, like he is apologizing for the inconvenience of it. The toughness that kept him alive in service is the exact thing quietly working against him on the page. He survives by minimizing, then files by minimizing too.
The fix for all 3 is the same. Be specific, stay consistent with your records, and be honest about your worst days, not your best ones. The form is asking how bad it gets, not how tough you are.
That reframes the whole page for me. Describing your worst day is not weakness on a claim, it is accuracy. The leader needs the real ceiling of your suffering, not the brave face you wear for your family. This is the one place where honesty about how bad it gets is the strong move, not the soft one.
Let us close on the number because it makes everything we said concrete. The same back, the same knee, the same veteran can land on 2 very different monthly checks depending on how well the story is told on one page. I want to read from someone who has sat on the deciding side of this. We called in Daniel Reyes, who knows the claims decision process cold. Daniel, can you hear us?
I can hear you, happy to be on. And I will tell you up front, the personal statement is the most underused piece of evidence I ever encountered. People sweat the doctor's notes and the deadlines and the dependents, then leave their own voice completely blank. It is the one piece of the file they fully control, and they hand it back empty.
Daniel, put a number on it for people because abstract advice never sticks. How much can a well-built statement actually move a claim in real dollars?
Think about it as the difference between 40% and 70% for the same condition. In 2026, that is about $796 a month versus $1,808. The records might support either reading, and the statement is often what shows the rater that the 70 is the honest one.
Let me make that gap tangible so nobody glosses over it. Walk it with me as it builds, one line at a time. Start at the 40% rate, $795.84 a month. That is the floor in this story.
And the 70% rate sits way up at $1,808.45, so the increase is $1,012 every single month.
Over a full year, that is more than $12,000 tax-free for the exact same body and the exact same service. The page is very often what tips it from one side to the other.
And one honest caveat, because I do not want anyone to overreach. A statement cannot invent severity that is not there. If your own form is your only voice, use the witness form 2, 21-10210, and let a spouse corroborate. The statement persuades, it never fabricates.
Thank you, Daniel. That caveat is the part I want people to hold on to. The goal is an accurate ceiling on your suffering, not an inflated one. An honest statement that matches your records is powerful, and an exaggerated one that fights them is the fastest way to lose the rater's trust.
Here is my honest take after all of it. Write the statement every time on every claim. It is the one piece of evidence fully in your hands. It costs you nothing but an honest hour, and walk away with this. The form is asking how bad it gets, so tell it the truth about your worst day. Quick recap before we close. VA Form 214138 is your statement in your own words. It carries 4 parts: the in-service event, your symptoms now, the impact on work and daily life, and the thread of continuity tying then to now. Write all 4, avoid the 3 mistakes, and the page does real work for you.
The first thing I would do tonight is open your last claim and ask one honest question. Did I ever actually write the statement, or did I leave that remarks box blank? If it is blank, you left evidence on the table, and you can fix that with a new statement on your next submission.
And wait until you see what happens when you pair this with the C&P exam. The way you prepare for that exam can echo everything you wrote here. The same frequency and the same worst day. That alignment is a story for the next one.
If this gave you a clearer plan for your claim, hit like and subscribe so the next veteran finds it, and so we can keep these 2026 numbers current for you every single year. The rates change every December, and we update them right here. Here is the one only you can answer. What is the single most honest sentence about your worst day that you have never put on a form? Tell us in the comments.
If one section applies to you, that section is the homework.
Learn it kindly, learn it deeply, and then teach it forward to someone else.
Impressive work, Jasmine. I almost did not want to interrupt. This is Professor Erica. Thanks for watching and signing off.